Good morning, Sheila. How are you doing?
Wayne, I'm great. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing
Good.
fine. And ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, Sheila and I, before we started, we were having a great discussion and we're laughing. So please excuse my exuberance
Yes.
right now, but I'm coming down from our conversation of 30 seconds ago. And welcome
Right.
everyone to 27 Minutes with Sheila and Wayne, where we explore the fascinating world of verbs and their impact on our daily lives. Join us each week as we delve into the different ways verbs shape our language and influence our interactions as we attempt to make a positive difference in our world, one verb at a
At a
time.
time.
Sheila, what is our verb for today?
Thank you, Wayne. Today's verb is to review. And I have three
Review.
definitions. Yes, to review. And you'll have more definitions after I finish. The first is to examine or assess something formally with the possibility of instituting change if necessary.
Ooh.
Number two is to write a critical appraisal of a book, a play, a movie, etc., for publication.
Ah.
And number three is to think or talk about something again to make changes, make a decision about it. So
Okay.
let's hear what you've got.
All right. The last one you had was my first one, so I'll
Okay,
skip that one, but I have four others. It
great.
is to describe the most important facts in a piece of academic research that you
Ah,
have read and give your opinion of the research. To
okay.
study again something that you have already learned in preparation for
Mm,
an exam.
good.
Who hasn't done that?
Right.
Well, sometimes I
Yeah,
did,
I know.
sometimes I
Well,
didn't.
yeah, maybe that's out of the question.
To carefully examine a situation to find out whether changes or improvements need to be made. I like that one.
Right. Yeah.
And to examine the accounts of a business to check that
Ah,
they have been done according to accepted practices and standards.
good idea.
Yes. Aha. And Sheila, where may our listeners find you?
Thank you for asking. My email address is zekeandsheila@yahoo.com.
And my email address is wayne at mindsyncing.com. And as Sheila says, if you want to send complaints, send it to that one. Send it to Wayne at
But
mindsyncing.com.
compliments can go to either of us.
That's right. And my website is mindsyncing.com. Guess what?
What?
We have a new country added to our list of listeners. It is Nigeria.
Awesome.
Awesome. So thank you, Nigeria.
Thank you, Nigeria.
It's really awesome and humbling how many countries have listened to our podcast and it
Amen.
continues to grow. It's just fun to see that.
Yes, it
It is.
is.
So, okay, review. What were your
Gotta re-
thoughts initially? What were you thinking? Where'd you go?
At first, I was thinking, performance review, which is a noun, not a verb. I was thinking about how a grand marshal reviews parades. I was
Oh,
thinking about reviewing materials for an exam. I was
okay.
thinking about reviewing as a self assessment tool. I was thinking about reviewing the troops, which I thought I would leave to you with your Air Force background. And then the first thing I stumbled on that really got me interesting beyond the bullet points was um, that out of a survey of 2,000 Americans, 37% say that they have a hard time falling asleep because they're reviewing the conversations they've had through the day and it's
Mm,
keeping them up. So,
wow.
right. So, and often, according to a Reddit survey on this, an overwhelming number of people experience this, often with a negative slant. Why did I say that? Or I should have said this. It's like a treadmill you can't get off of. And it's been attributed to a bunch of things: social anxiety, overthinking, rumination, ADHD, being a perfectionist.
Mm,
And 41% in that same 2,000 person survey are reviewing tomorrow's plans. So it's either today's plans giving you a heartache or tomorrow's plans keeping you up. But you can give yourself permission to stop. You can say something as simple as "Stop now, Sheila, you're done." And, I mean, you don't have to say my name. You can fill your name in the blank.
okay.
Um, but also, as you review those conversations, try to shift your mind to, instead of "I should have said this, I should have said that," say "next time I will say X, Y, and Z." And
Mm,
so and then the other tool for stopping it is to bring yourself in the present moment and, just feel yourself in the bed, listen to what noises you're hearing, feel the temperature, try Try to use your senses to focus your mind instead of going round and round in your head.
Yes.
So, where did you go with this topic?
Well, I went someplace else, but first I have to ask you this.
All right.
Do you have a trivia question for us today?
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking. There are many questions that you're given when your performance is being reviewed. What are 2 of the top 10 best performance review questions? And this is kind of a random survey, so you won't find this scientifically backed. So we will answer that at the end of the show. The 2 top questions in a performance review.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
And you asked me where did my thinking go first? Initially, I started thinking about the verb review, and these items came to mind.
All right.
Movie reviews. I was thinking about, Siskel and Ebert from long ago.
Right.
Book reviews, product reviews, college reviews, professor reviews. Have you ever seen those reviews where you can go in and review people? And
that's kind of scary to me, but yes, I have seen those.
It is, yes. And I was always hoping my name never popped up on any of those. But restaurant reviews, resort reviews, and similar thoughts continued to pop in my head. And then I thought, why do people write reviews? So I went in a different direction. Totally.
I like it. Great.
And no sooner had I thought that, I typed into Google, I Googled it.
Okay.
And I asked the question, why do people write reviews? And guess what I came up with?
You're going to have to say me.
Okay. I came up with an article written by, I'm laughing because it was just really funny. I came up with an article written by Josue Ledesma, which is titled, Why Do People Write Reviews?
There you go. You guys thinking alike.
Exactly. And so I read the article, and actually there was 2. And one of the analysts and I never knew this, but there's a research, there's a Danish online review platform called Trustpilot. Have you ever heard of that?
Trustpilot? Trustpilot, okay. I have not.
It's a Danish online review platform. And I after I looked at the 2 articles, I went and did some more research on the Trustpilot review platform.
Okay.
And I found that people in the world respect it more than the Google reviews.
Okay.
That are out. And I thought, I've never heard of this. But anyway, I found the article by Josue, and it was analyzed by Siri Shattuck, and she says that here's some of the things that were reviewed in the first article, as they learned in part why consumers read reviews.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, so part 1 is why consumers read reviews, and then part 2 is why we write reviews. I said, okay, I can do this. And so she says that people read reviews because it offers valuable guidance from people who've just used the service or the product.
Okay.
It makes it easier for shoppers to decide. It attests to a company's reliability. And I thought, I like that. And then I'm thinking, as long as these are all honest and true and from the heart, I can see that. And then she says, it indicates what's the best and worst that could happen. Ooh, right? If you buy this product, this is going to happen. If you don't buy this product, this is going to happen or not. And she says it gives consumers insight about product quality. And I thought, okay, great.
Okay.
Now, that still didn't answer the question why you write reviews.
I know this is going to be interesting.
That is next, and I will listen to you first, and then I'll bring up some of these as you continue.
Okay. I have a great quote. I wasn't going to say this one, but it fits in so perfectly with what you just said. This is Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. My idea of fun would be to review the customers. I could give some customers 1 star so that restaurateurs would know when they walked in to not serve them. So, also, Les Brown, a professional speaker, said, review your goals twice every day in order to be focused on achieving them.
I know Les Brown.
Do you really?
I met Les Brown years ago in an organization called National Speakers Association.
Okay.
Because I was the NSA guy back then, and I was doing speaking engagements around the nation and went to some conferences, and I met Les Brown there. So yeah, so would you say that? Would you say that one more time, please?
I will. Review your goals twice every day in order to be focused on achieving them.
Excellent. Excellent. So Les is still doing it. Very good.
Still doing it. That is great. So
Yes.
Jenna Fisher, an actress, said, I'm a very thoughtful, forward-thinking planner kind of person. I love Excel spreadsheets and 5-year plans, and I love to review every year how my New Year's resolutions went. And everything she says about herself is what I aspire to, but I am just not as organized.
No.
And then I've got one very famous. Socrates said this, and it was recorded by Plato. He said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And normally my quotes have the word in them that we're talking about, but this one, he's clearly talking about reviewing his life.
Yes.
And that led me into my next subject, which I will touch on after you tell us why people write reviews.
Okay. According to Trustpilot and according to Hasway, it's to help others make a better buying decision, to share an experience, to reward a company for good performance. And he went further into details and gave us some real reasons why individuals write for those 3 reasons. And he says, 1, there's the emotional appeal. And I thought, okay.
Okay.
He said, readers are kind of like an on-demand emotional type of thing. Ever heard the saying, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all?
Yes, absolutely.
I think we talked about that last time, didn't we?
I think moms teach you that when you're young.
Exactly. He said, while the sentiment behind this adage may be well-intentioned, it doesn't inform the psychology behind reviews. And so he says, our research shows that consumers are more inclined to write reviews when the experiences that they have strikes an emotional chord, whether positive or negative. If a consumer has had a very poor experience, they'll write a review in order to vent frustration and anger, especially if they feel personally mistreated or wronged. Have you ever been in that position at a restaurant or a park or a whatever and said, if I was going to write a review, you would get a -5?
I have said that kind of thing, but I don't believe in harming a business because of one bad experience. So I would not write a review that could do harm if it's just someone's bad day. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And he said in the same manner, if a consumer has had an exceptionally good experience, they're likely to applaud the company with a good review to help the company succeed.
I have done that. Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have too. And I think many of us have done that, possibly. Yes. He says, number 2, for expression and empowerment. Ooh. Not only are reviews reflective of a certain emotional tenor, they're also, in their purest form, a means for consumers to express themselves. In the words of one reviewer, reviews are a great way to voice your opinion and let people know about your experiences when dealing with companies and businesses around the country. Fabulous. And I thought, yeah, that's pretty cool. So the emotionally, I guess, reason has been introduced to us. And then he says there's this, now remember the philosophical thoughts, why, and the answer is because, or I think, therefore I am.
Right.
He says, I review, therefore I am.
Okay.
He says reviewers can also serve to feed the ego by giving reviewers the opportunity to be recognized and acknowledged by their peers. Ooh, look at me. I've done this. Yes.
Right. Right.
Okay. So let's go back. Let's go back to you. And I have 1-2 more things to say about that.
I will say that I do rely a lot on Amazon reviews to determine. First of all, I won't buy anything unless it has over, like 1,000 reviews. But if it has 3, then I'm not going to trust those 3 reviews. So there you go. At the same time, if I'm on Yelp or something like that, and I look up a review, and it's negative, then I might go to other reviews that user has posted. And if all of his reviews of everything are negative, then I will definitely take that with a grain of salt. So, but do you know that Uber drivers review you just like you review them? And when I asked my husband that, he said, "Who doesn't know that?" So I said, "But do you know what your review number is?" And I will tell you mine is 4.96 out of 5,
Oh,
which then leads me to say, "Well, aren't I so and so?" But then I thought, well, how come it's not a 5? And
right.
here are four reasons that you would get a lower review rating from an Uber driver. If you slam the doors of the car, if you do
Huh.
not use your seatbelt, if you
Okay.
leave crumbs in the car from eating something, or
Mm.
if you've got too much luggage.
Uh-huh.
So there you go. How to get a negative review rating from your Uber driver. So
But if I had
that's
too much luggage, that's why I ordered an Uber because my car's too small for that.
well, if you're trying to
So
fit 12 people into one Uber car, I'm sure that would also give you a lower rating.
a lower rate. And you know what? I've often wondered. So when you call the telephone company or you call your insurance company or the bank,
Right. Yeah.
if if and they say, okay, may I look at your account? And you say, sure, because if you don't look at my account, you can't help me, right? And they go, yeah. I wonder if there's some notation in it that says, uh-oh, if this guy calls,
Oh.
it's going to be a bad day for you.
Oh. You know,
I
when we were growing up, there was talk about having a permanent record, and you were always worried something would go on your permanent record. Turns out maybe there is a permanent record.
I think so. I think so. So I've often thought of that. I'm like, okay, now I was looking at my records here. Did they see the last time that I was mad and I said that 4-letter word?
Ah,
Became a little, yes, unhinged, but that's okay.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I don't know. Going back to
Yes.
Hans Wei, he says that we write for a sense of community.
Ah,
He says by extension, writing can foster a communal ethos, a sense of common stewardship. For many reviewers are as a consumer gives you a chance to contribute to a good cause so reviewers are feel like they belong to the community
mm,
and have good thoughts in of people in mind. Much like you said, as you tend to buy things on Amazon, if it doesn't have this kind of rating, you're not going to look at it. I do
yeah.
the same thing, and I'm sure
Okay.
everyone else does as well,
Sure. Yeah.
because I play board games, and
Oh, yeah.
when
You
I
do.
when I look into buying a different board game, I look to see what the reviews are.
Hmm.
And if it's not a 7.3 and above, I discount it. I don't even look at those.
Okay.
But if it's 7.4 and above, I look at those,
Okay.
and that gets me more interested and more wanting to purchase the game and play the game. So we all do that. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
I like that sense of community and contributing to the community with a review.
Absolutely. And Huntsway says, in conclusion, when it comes down to it, we found several motivations for writing reviews: venting frustrations if the experience was negative,
Hmm.
praising and helping the company if the experience was positive,
Hmm.
having a need to express oneself, feel empowered in doing so. Again, I review,
Hmm.
therefore I am.
Okay.
Wanting to be recognized or acknowledged for having certain knowledge and tastes.
Hmm.
And then finally, feeling part of a community and wanting to give back. And he alludes to the fact that he says, hey, we can find out why people write bad reviews, because there is that, but that's for a
Yes.
different podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So,
Okay.
okay, back to you.
Well, this is the one I really settled on for most of the rest of my research. And I was thinking about reviewing your life. And I stumbled upon a website about the Stanford Letter Project. And it said that in 2015, after many years of research and discussions with people from various cultural and social backgrounds, they came up with these letter templates documenting what matters most to a person. And they said, if since most people postpone the heavy conversations with their family and friends, they may end up passing away without a sense of peace. And the
Hmm.
family may not have a sense of peace either. So they have identified 7 life review tasks. And I thought, okay. And then they give you tools to address these. So the 7 I'll say now are remembering treasured moments is
Hmm.
number 1. Number 2, apologizing to those we may have hurt.
Hmm.
Number 3, forgiving those who have hurt us. Number 4, saying thank you. Number 5, saying I love you. And number 6, saying goodbye. And I couldn't help thinking, since we are just past the month of September, I couldn't help thinking about the phone calls that people made on the flight on September 11th,
Hmm.
911,
Yes.
where they called family members mostly to say, I love you and goodbye. And so at least those people were able to accomplish in the minutes they had left those tasks. But why wait? It says, why wait?
Exactly. And if you remember, Stevie Wonder had that song many, many years ago. I just called to say I love you.
Yes,
Isn't that
yes.
that song was going in my head as you were saying that, going through that list.
Ah, that's lovely.
Now you said a list of 7, but you only gave us 6.
I did give you only 6. I didn't write the 7th down, I guess.
Okay.
Well, you'll just have to go to the Stanford Letter Project. But I will say they've got templates of letters you can write, and they've got them in 8 different languages, because they didn't just analyze one culture. They looked at various cultural and social backgrounds and have found, because there's some customs where you don't have these conversations.
Yes.
But
Yes.
even so, if you want to have peace in your passing, both for you and for your loved ones. And then they go into having a letter for doctors too, letters for doctors, for friends and family. They've got a letter if you're sick to send to your friends and family, and if you're healthy to send to your friends and family. So this is not something you have to wait until you've got some kind of medical diagnosis to do. And
Absolutely.
then we'll go back to you and I'll talk about another topic that they discussed in terms of reviewing your life.
Well, I like that, and I'm going to piggyback on not only talking to your friends, but remember, who was your stellar kin elementary school teacher who excited you about learning, excited you about writing, excited you about painting, excited you about music, something. Because I remember mine, and I would love to be able
Okay.
to send a note to them saying, "Hey, thank you very much."
Oh,
Wouldn't that be cool?
nice. That would be
Yes,
cool.
that would be very, very cool.
I did. So I, as you know, am a 30-year breast cancer survivor. And I did, after 10 years, send a thank you note to some of my doctors.
Ah, very
So
nice.
yeah, that was
Cool.
fun.
And since this is October,
Yes,
and
Breast Cancer
so
Awareness Month.
it is. So when I go out and do engagements, and I'm going to have a speaking engagement next week, as a matter of fact,
Ooh,
I'm going to wear my pink shirt or my pink
aha.
tie or both to
Okay.
represent that. And it's always fun to watch football during
Yeah, I
October.
know. It is true.
The last game I saw, the officials, the referees, the line judge, the back judge, the head referee,
Uh-huh.
they all had pink shoelaces in their black tennis shoes.
Oh, it's
I
always fun to watch.
It is. It is. It's very, very cool. So anyway, I'm looking at the clock. It's 23. So
Okay.
please go ahead and give us the second part there. Go ahead.
Well, they talked about the value of a bucket list, and
Ah,
the point of a bucket list is that it can help you refine the things that are important to you, and that can help a doctor determine, certainly at end of life, how to address your care. But they found some statistics, and one of those is, this one isn't a numeral statistic, but overall, highly spiritual people are most likely to have a bucket list.
hmm.
So I started looking at the other statistics, assuming there was going to be some spiritual component to it, and I didn't see any other follow up on that. But 78.5 people expressed a desire to travel who responded to the survey.
Okay.
78.3% a desire to accomplish a personal goal. 51% a desire to achieve a specific milestone,
Huh.
16.7% a desire to spend quality time with friends and family, and I thought it would be much higher than that, but
Hmm.
16.1 a desire to achieve financial stability, and 15% a desire to do a daring activity. they did break it down. Younger folks tend to go more for the daring activities. Older folks tend to go more towards the friends and family. But it does help you, as they said, determine your end of life decisions. And it's never too late to put a bucket list together either.
Now, do you have a bucket list?
Oh, I would say I have a little one, and I have to admit, traveling certain places is in that list.
Okay. And I've really never had a bucket list, but I have
Okay.
had certain things that I wanted to do, but
Okay.
it wasn't a bucket list. It was just, oh, I'd like to do that. And just, I
Okay.
moved on.
Well,
Um, Go
can
ahead.
I just make an observation about you? By the time you got around to putting in your bucket list, you've already done it because you're that kind of person. You have an idea and you go for it.
Sometimes that's true. That's true. Yes, that's okay. Yes. Anyway, I'm looking at the clock. We're at 25:30, so
Okay.
we're nearing the end here.
All
So
right.
I want to get to your trivia question, and I have
Okay.
a question for our audience.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay.
The answer to the trivia question, top of the 10 best performance review questions. Number one, what was your greatest accomplishment at work since your last review? And I thought I'd throw in number two also, what do you hope to accomplish over the coming year?
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
And that kind of doves dub, dub, dovetails into
Hmm.
my question for our audience.
Okay.
Since we're talking about review,
Hmm.
if the listening audience, if you have thoughts as to how we could something else we could do in our
Yes.
podcast, or if you like what we're
Yes.
doing, or if you don't like some of the things we do, let us know
Right.
what that is.
If you're so tired of quotes, let us know because I can always take that out.
I will never be tired of quotes.
So maybe we
especially
won't take it out.
especially you bring up Les Brown again.
Oh,
Yes,
isn't
since I
that
met
wild?
him. That was
That
very
is
cool.
great.
That's
Yeah.
very, very cool. Yes.
Thanks, Wayne.
So anyway, so Sheila, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Um,
Wayne.
Thank you always for doing this. I really
Thank you.
appreciate you. And would you take us home, please?
I will. I'd like to just leave with one quote by Yvonne Woon, who said, sometimes you have to look back in order to understand the things that lie ahead. And so we ask you to think about what you can do to review your life in a positive way and
Mm,
go forward. So thank you for
excellent.
listening, everybody. We appreciate you.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you, Wayne.
Bye bye.